Good evening, I'm Colgan and you're watching the Business and Enterprise Show, Ireland's only live web-based business TV programme with over 2 million views worldwide. And as always, we're coming to you live from our state-of-the-art studios in the Cavan Crystal Hotel on the Dublin Road here in Cavan. Now, adding a bit of internationalism and a bit of glamour to my programme tonight is my guest, Shermanju Katragata. First of all, did I get the name right?
You did.
I did indeed.
Thank you.
And Shermanju, your business is experiencehealing.ie.
Yes.
Now, of course, before we start talking about business, we'll find out a little bit yourself. So tell us a little bit about Shermanju.
All right. Thank you, firstly, for giving the opportunity for me to be here.
You are welcome.
So before that, my background is I was raised up in India. And when I was 20, I got married to this man who was living in Ireland. I just followed him. I came to Ireland 14 years ago, that is. Now you know my age. And that's where my life
God, you said
started.
that and not me. Oh.
I know people will be calculating, that's okay. But yeah, that's where my journey started. So I finished bachelor's in computer science back home, thanks to my dad and mom for giving that education. So I started working in the multinational company straight away. And that's my professional life or daytime job life, I would say.
And of course, India is very big into computerization.
It is big time.
Again, I suppose people have opinions of India in the same way people from outside Ireland have images of Ireland that everyone lives in a attached cottage. You know, people have a certain image of India.
Yeah.
And being a high-tech country, it's not one of them, but that's totally wrong, isn't it?
It is, yeah. Like for us, education is a priority. Like generally, we were raised as you need to be engineer or you need to be a doctor or a lawyer. These are your backgrounds, and education was very much part of it. Like, yeah, only until you finish your degree, you're allowed or you're out of the home to work even. Like, so definitely big time education was like, yeah.
So most people would be happy to be a project manager in a large multinational computer company and be happy with that and everything that goes with it. But you just realised you had other talents and formed that into a business.
Yeah. So being a project manager or business analyst, that's prior background, I was happy, but it's just things were falling out of place. Like the universe was telling me, you have a bigger picture, you need to listen to your soul, you need to listen to your life purpose. I thought like, okay, working and having kids, that's it, my life purpose done. But there was an inner calling saying, you need to look in deeper. So like my second child, when she was born, I realized things weren't working out well in my health and her health. And she was not well as well. Little things like not major, like reflex, allergies, and she wasn't able to sleep in the night. So a friend of mine, he offered to do Reiki, which is a universal life force energy, gentle healing energy. Until then, I used to slag him. What is it all about?
How long are you in Ireland now?
14 years.
14 years, and you're slagging people because of what they do. Oh, you caught on to the culture very well.
Yeah, and it was an evening where we were staying in his house, and she was crying, and he couldn't bear the pain of her that she was going through. She would generally cry for 3 hours with the reflex acid. And then he said, let me try Reiki. And I said, as long as there is no medication, I'm okay, go and try. So he just took the baby, and she stopped crying within 2 minutes. I said, oh my God, that's a magic. Literally a magic. And she slept through the night, which she didn't do for the past 4 months of her birth, since the birth. I said, there is something here now. I need to look further into what this is Reiki about, like what he's talking and making sense. And that's where I call experience healing. No matter what someone says, you need to experience that part of the healing that awakens you inside out. And that moment on, I started investigating further. I started learning about it and doing a self-practice and thinking like, oh, I'm going to fix her, like, you know, but more was happening. I was diagnosed with chronic arthritis right at that time. And I was in between jobs as well, a lot of stress there. And I thought like, oh my God, this is not the right place for me, like, you know, and I was very emotionally down as well. But as I started working on the healing and self-practice, after like 6 weeks even, I would say, like I saw a bigger difference like that I couldn't see, but people around me were seeing. They were saying, you look better.
Because we were always the last person
Yeah.
to see a difference in ourselves.
Because you don't trust yourself, you don't believe in yourself that you can do better things even like, and that is the culture we all were raised up, because none of our parents or the teachers knew there is something positive. Or I would say, like, you're not told to do your own, blow your trumpets, so you're never saying well done to myself.
I'm just thinking that the similarities between Irish parents and Indian parents is immense, you know.
Very same, like,
Yeah.
and here some of my Irish friends would be saying, oh, this is in my culture. Hang on, this happens the same in my culture too, like, we're all the same.
We are. Now, just going back to the Reiki. Now, can anyone do that? You know, is it something that you train to do, or is it something that you have and it's brought out in you?
It's somewhere in between both. Anyone can learn Reiki. It's very simple energy technique. It's only you need to spend 2 days. That's it. You're attuned to the universal life force energy, which activates your own energy centers that you can provide the healing. As long as, like, you know, when you watch a television, you feel like, oh, there is an earthquake, you feel sad, you want to do something, and that is where your sensitiveness is. And this is what the energy can do. You can send someone healing, or you can send prayer. Like, prayer is energy, but we were never told that way. It's a very positive thing, like, you know, there is no side effect. It's a beautiful way, and absolutely it helps anyone with any conditions, and it does deeper healing as well. Before we realize, we say generally Reiki goes to the root cause of the problem and slows it down or takes it away. Like, miracles do happen with Reiki, like saying my own chronic condition.
Again,
Yeah.
one of the, you said 2 conditions that you have. One was with everything was down on top of you. I suppose, to call a spade a spade, you probably had some form of depression, which is the mental, and then you had the physical of chronic arthritis. Now that is, you know, something has to be done about that. To a certain degree, mental illness can be managed.
Yeah.
But a physical illness, but yet, from what you're telling me, Reiki can actually cure. Oh, well, take away the symptoms of, maybe can't cure, but it certainly takes away the symptoms, which is all we're really interested in anyway, of, as was your case, chronic arthritis.
Yeah. So with the chronic, like, I'm very skeptical person, because I was raised as in the engineering background. I had to, like, see the proof. When this baby stopped crying, that's my proof. So with the chronic arthritis,
you're not just happy the baby stopped crying, then you started opening the book on it. Right, let's get the facts and figures down here.
So with the chronic arthritis, what was happening is I was finding it even an hour to get out of the bed, to feed this baby and look after my toddler as well, or change the nappy. I needed a help there. And my hands would be such in pain that I couldn't even keep them straight. So when I was practicing Reiki, I could see, like, my hands were getting straight, literally, and the pain was reducing, or the peakness of the pain was reducing. What I realized is the stress of me was reducing, and the stress triggers your pains, if you see, or the food. So then I looked into the food allergies. I tried to avoid those food allergies, the foods that were triggering me, and again, self-healing, they both were going in together. So basically, Reiki is letting your body to recover, letting your body talk to you, and you are able to hear. Your mind is getting calmer, and you listen to your body. Like, you eat like cheesecake, and you say, like, oh, I have a bad tummy pain, and you still have it even after a week. You're not listening to the body. It's telling cheesecake is not doing good to you, to your digestive system. But with Reiki, you're able to actually listen, because your mind is calmer. Like they say, 65,000 thoughts a day. It's proven medically.
That's not a quiet day.
Yeah. So with that, we wouldn't be listening. We'll ignore it. It's okay. It might be something else. But your body is much more clever than we think.
So you then started studying Reiki, became quite good at it, and were able to heal yourself, heal the issues that you had. But you just took it a step forward.
Yeah.
You said, look, this is what I can do for me. Now, let me see what I can do for other people out there.
Yes, exactly. So when I did the Reiki,
and I can understand the Reiki, you know, because the power of the mind, I'm totally attuned with that, you know, and you can do anything for yourself. But the fact that you can pass that healing on to other people, that's Incredible.
So like after doing the level 1, then I went ahead and did level 2, where you can do distance healing. My mom was not well back home, so I wanted to do some healing rather than me flying every few weeks. So I learned distance healing, and after learning distance healing and practitioner level, there was an inner saying, go and help those people who need the help. Hang on, I can't face them. I don't have the confidence to do it. But inner me, my husband said, let's do it. Reach out to those corporate social clubs and say you are able to provide. And then I said, I know, I understand the stress that we go through in a day-to-day life, like working mom or house mom or a person with financial stress, any stress, job loss, everything. I have faced all those. I know that. And this is where I say, try it out and see how it comes out to you. And that's where I started reaching people, because I believe it's working. And I'm the physical proof of making it happening. Like, you know, so there is nothing stopping me. Oh, what if it doesn't work? If it doesn't work, there is a deeper levels of reasons, or it takes much more time, longer time than someone else, like, you know, but it does work. We might think, okay, I'm here like just like me, chronic pains, cure me. But for them, the chronic pain is not going. Maybe they are better sleeping where they were insomniac. Something else is at the behind is working for them. And that's where the whole thing got me out, and I started working on people and slowly realized actually it's just being yourself is what you're doing it there. And that's where people were
Now,
healing.
when you turned it into the business of experiencehealing.ie, you're a mom to 2 children. That takes up time in itself, I know.
Yeah.
You're a project manager in an international company, and I know these companies are not normally 9-to-5 places where, you know, where did you get the time to fit everything in?
Thanks to wonderful children and my husband, I would say, to start basically giving me that time to work on myself, or when I say I need that space, they gave me that space. And my children, because they saw me straight away working and looking after myself, so they were, I think they were tuned into that whole thing, like this is mommy's time kind. So I would usually like practice in the evenings. If someone says, okay, I need some healing, I would get that time. And then the main thing that I learned is being in the time management. When I say this is the time, this is where I'm providing healing, or this is my day job, and this is my kids' time. Like somewhere I read, like when you're mindful to be with the children just for 15 minutes actively, you're giving everything rather than spending whole day and in your own chaotic mode, like, you know. So those little things
The children might prefer the full day, even if you are only half paying attention. But again, and time management, no matter what business you're in, is very important.
Yes.
But when you're juggling, we'll say, corporate life, which, you know, puts demands on it, and as I said, it's not normally the type of place where at 5 o'clock you can up and walk out the door. It's not like the civil service where you start cleaning your desk at 4:30 so that you're out on the button at 5, you know. You can be all set to go, and an issue can raise, and it's all hands on deck.
I get my laptop because I work in different time zones. I do, if I have to reach out, I reach out in the evenings after the kids are in bed. So until 8 is the time with them.
Yeah.
So after, when they're in the bed, they strictly go at 8 anyway. Fortunately, they're tired by then.
For the moment. That's all I'm saying, for the moment.
Exactly, yeah. So, and then I switch on to what I have to do, but then slowly my practice has made me say to put a boundary, that these are my hours, this is what I'll be doing, and that is very well. Yeah. Thankfully, they understand.
So the people that you do help, what sort of people are they? What problems are they coming to you with?
So I get from babies, pregnant women, elderly, handicapped, anyone, but generally some have like chronic issues, or some have like emotional issues as well. So it's both levels of it. And there are 10% of them who just come only for like trying it out and saying this is my time.
Just to see it.
Just to see it and say my time, which they don't get in the home. Like how many of us go and book in a massage every week? No. We don't give that preference. Luckily, there are some people who realize we need to have that switch off time. And when they come in, they totally relax and they fall asleep as well as the session happens. So this is what they wanted, and they're like totally recharged, like just recharging your batteries. You need to do that once in a while, and that's very important for your body to recover from any of the emotions, physical abilities, anything that we go through.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And how do people find you?
So they generally find me like through the website, through the social engine and Facebook or social media networks, like, And also I do like do the well-being days in corporate world as well, or organize them like charity things as well. So that's where they show.
Yeah, and corporate work, are you involved in much corporate work? Because at that level, it's very stressful. And as healing people will say, as medical doctors will say, 95% of people's issues come from the stress that they put on their body and their mind.
Exactly, yeah. The corporate people, they are again very skeptical whenever I do the well-being days there, and they say, oh, what am I going to get in this 15 minutes? And believe me, they come in for that 15 minutes and they fall asleep. So quickly the energy starts working on you. And some of them I have doing for the past 3 years, so they look forward for the next year again, like when is it happening? So they book in very much early. Yeah.
So are you talking, and one or two people from a company would come in, or at some stage
I go
in
to
the
their
year
companies.
you go and you'd handle everybody, or?
So the HR looks after in like organizing that whole well-being day, and they schedule it, what are the therapies and everything are available. So I'll just go there and offer my
So if a business said, like, Shamanju, we want a wellness day on our premises, there's 100 people working. Is that too many for it to?
Around like for a day, like they were booking around 40 people.
Okay, there's a business with 40 people.
Yeah.
And look, we want a mindfulness day for all the staff. 9 o'clock comes, you turn up, what happens?
So I turn up there, I set up my place, the room they have given me, and the plinth is there, the massage table. So they come in and they say, like, we want to get like every 10-15 minutes they change the people, they have their rota outside. Whoever has the timing appointment given, they come up, they get the healing done, and they go off back to their work, like much recharge, much calm.
But what happens in those 15 minutes?
So in that 15 minutes, I tell them what is a quick session about Reiki. Reiki is energy healing, and I just use my both the palms, and it's totally fully clothed as well. That's the one thing everyone asks, like, you know, is it like massage? No, all I do is place my hands on their crown, third eye, and the throat.
You actually touch them, do you? Because I remember interviewing somebody on the radio actually, and it worked, and they gave me a healing. I don't know if it worked or not, but they didn't touch. It was, you know, a few inches away. You know.
Yeah, it perfectly works as well.
Yeah.
I do for some people. I do ask them, "Are you comfortable me in touching you?" So mostly they say yes. And touch is itself a healing energy. When you give a hug to that child who has fallen down, they forget everything. That touch, the warmth, is what we are all lacking. So I ask them, and generally 99% said yes. So I just place the hands few minutes on each of those chakras, or the energy centers we call them, and that's it. And if it's a full body session, 7 chakras, and the hands and the legs we do. But for these corporate events, like 4 at least is good enough, like, you know. And what we say is even 2 minutes of Reiki is good enough rather than no.
Well, again, the old saying is, what's the best exercise you can do? It's whatever you do, you know.
Yeah, even the breathing.
Even if you do a couple of minutes, it's better than nothing.
Exactly.
Than what it is. And if a company was kind of to get that done, what sort of costs are we talking? And does the business pick up the tab, or is it the individual workers?
The business generally, like the 3 companies that I have done, is the business have picked it up, and the rest of the 2 is half is by social club, and the half is by the person, individual person itself. Like, so it depends on each company how they put it into their well-being for their employees. Like, so depending on like a 9 to 5, if we say it's like 400 or something, like and they bring in few other practitioners as well. It's just not Reiki only.
So what does the business get out of it? Okay, the individual, you know, great. You know, Shamanju helped me. Yeah, I feel much better now, and I'm going home now, and it's great. But what does the business get out of it?
The business, they are providing their own employees who are so committed, working hard for their company, giving everything out of their family life and everything. That little kind of energy time, relaxation, take time back, like, you know, and it's only 15 minutes, but it's so much positive. And there will be, like, most of the companies that I have worked are part of like the top workplaces that you would love to work with, because they prioritize work-life balance aspect of it. And this is where the whole balance of is coming in, like they are prioritizing, like you have the bike for work scheme, things like that, tax saving things. This is part of it as well. And most of the big companies, I know that they have a designated therapist in the place, occupational therapist, if you say, that you can go and book in anytime you want it, which is great.
Yeah, my own son works in PayPal. They have a fully equipped gym in one of the rooms, and he goes in there every lunch hour. And
the yoga, Pilates, like therapist.
I wouldn't do that now.
They do, which is great, some of the companies.
Brilliant. Traditional medicine, I was trying to think of the correct phrase here. The traditional medicine, how does that look upon something like Reiki and healing and meditation?
So it only complements it or makes it faster to recover your body. We never say don't take those medications what your doctor has given you.
No, but how do I spoke to lots of people in healing, and well, look, we don't interfere with anything. Yeah. But how did the doctors? How did they look? Do they look upon you as oh, this can't be working? If I couldn't cure them, how can she? You know.
Funnily, like I have my holistic practice in a medical center beside a doctor.
Oh, well, that's that question. Yeah.
And to the doctors that I have been on the chronic issues or skin issues that I have been, they said, if it works for you, go on and continue. Anything that recovers
people
you
who come to you, do they come to you because they've been to the doctor, they've had more MRIs and X-rays and injections into the joints for, as soon as you brought up the condition, we stick with arthritis. You know, we've gotten the cortisone injections, we're on more tablets than you can shake a stick at. I still have, for the last resort, I'm going to try healing. Or do you come in, we say earlier in the
there are people who came at the last resort, like, okay, nothing else worked, let me try, just because I heard from a friend it worked miraculous. So they do come in, and there are people who starts coming in right when they pick up that anxiety, picking up in there. Or I get those teenagers as well, especially at the leaving cert or the junior cert, when they go through the stress, because there's so much stress they carry on right now. So which is great, like, and people do come up at the big events in their life are happening as well, getting married or getting like looking in between jobs even, because they know this can help them to calm them and look more objective, more calmer, less of panic, and nothing damaging on their health system as well. So which is like, you get different types now, like,
Yeah. So people who come to you, apart from Reiki and healing, what else can they get from you?
So I also provide, like, I teach Reiki, and I teach about healing with angels as well, and I do angel card reading, mindfulness, weekly mindfulness classes, and one-day mindfulness workshops as well, like where I give them the tools and the techniques they can take away and work on themselves on their everyday routine, like,
It's funny, when we were chatting earlier, we were talking about the similarity between Indian parents and Irish parents and traditions and customs. And I suppose something like Reiki and something like healing comes from an Eastern tradition. You know, you kind of, you've mentioned the word, you're miraculously cured by believing in it. You know, I don't know how many millions of Christians go to Lourdes every year. You know,
I've been there.
You've been there as well. You know, I've been to Knock here in Ireland, but I never got as far as. But it's quite similar. You know, people are going over there to be healed.
Yeah.
And they come to you to be healed. I'm not equating it to a deity or anything. You know, but there's the manifestation of healing in both traditions.
It is, yeah, coming from like Reiki has been originated from Japan. And that's like most of the healing techniques were coming in from that side of the world, like even yoga or anything, or breathing techniques and mantras as well, like, you know. But when the person is ready and open to get healed, That is where the whole journey starts. Maybe for some it is just a simple breathing technique, or some it's a Reiki, but it's all opening up yourself that I'm ready to get healed.
Yeah.
Anything that will
And
help me.
is that part of the process? If I have, again, we'll stick to arthritis. If I have arthritis and I take tablets, they will dull the pain. Maybe take the pain away or mask the pain, but the pain will be gone, so I won't really analyse it that much. And I don't really care because it's gone. But if I'm coming to you for Reiki healing on this arthritis, I have to believe that if I came to you skeptical, would it work?
It was. Skeptic is
Oh,
good.
that must frighten people. You know, nah, this won't work. Hey, it works. I better say nothing. I look like an idiot.
No, skeptic is good because I'm a skeptical person. I still be skeptical if I'm going to try a new technique, like definitely. That will help you to be more aware of what changes you're seeing in your body. And that is helping, rather than saying, oh, everything will work on me, and you don't realize, like, you know, which part is working, which is not working for you, like. And this is the best thing a person to start with, like, just try it, just to try it. Say, even if your friend is offering you any healing technique, just be open, skeptic, and try it on.
Meditation, that's something you do as well.
Yes.
And again, because that's been around for thousands of years in all sorts of forms, you know.
Yeah.
But going back to what we were saying about corporate life, family, rush, you know, commuting, you know, people no longer have the time that I suppose maybe 15, 20, 30 years ago, everybody had downtime. You know, it's like if you go to a shopping centre now on a Sunday, anyone who works in a shopping centre will tell you that's the busiest day. Now, I remember when everywhere was closed on a Sunday. You used to come home from Mass, there'd be a shop open where if you did forget something, but you could buy the Sunday papers, and then an hour or so after Mass, it was closed and there was nothing open, either in the suburbs where we lived or if you went into town. Now everything is certainly 7 days a week. Some of it, particularly coming up to Christmas time, some of the shopping centres are open 24 hours a day, you know.
And your mind is never off with the phone you have now, like, you know.
Because again, we used to finish work at 5, 6 or 7, whenever we finished. But when we finished, we were gone.
Yes.
You know, nobody could, if they wanted you might ring you home. If you weren't there, well, that was it. See, well, I was looking for him, he's not there.
Worried.
No, you cannot
switch off your gadget.
Switch off at all.
And your mind is racing all the time.
Yeah.
But to bring in meditation, you don't need an hour. That I would say as a myth. You just need only like 3 seconds. That's it. Just focus on your breath from your belly. Breathe it out. That one single breath sending you lots of oxygen that your body needs in. And you will see, just by doing that, keep a calendar reminder, breathe. It's funny, but it works. You just be aware of where you are. Be in here right now. And that is where the healing starts in. And you realize you're calmer, you're not stressed, or you're avoiding your 3 o'clock coffee even. So those things, and you're sleeping well.
So it all works together. So anybody who wants to contact you and look for your help and avail of your services, how do they contact you?
So they can contact me at www.experiencehealing.ie. I'm on Facebook as well, Experience Healing. And my contact is 086 850 2689 or info@experiencehealing.ie. And my name is Sri Manju. Yeah, all the details are on my website. Yeah.
So, Sri Manju, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate you coming in and telling us about your business, experiencehealing.ie. Do talk to us and do tune in next week when we have another guest talking about their business on the Business Enterprise Show. I've been Colm Colgan. Good night.